I'm Jenny-Jaymes and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, May 31st. It seems like this month is never going to end, but this is Two Queers in a Truck. And I am here with Elton Christian Cano and his big old his Elton glasses. And I'm Jenny-Jaymes Gunn, and this is another edition of Two Queers in a Truck. And we're jamming out like it's 1975.
That's right.
I love the 70s music because so much of it sounded like when it went into the 80s, it ended up being music for mostly porn movies. And
yeah.
You know,
brown.
I mean, it's the same beats. It's the same.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just kind of funny. It makes me giggle. Anyway, got a lot of idiots in the news, and so we've got a lot to cover today. The first one, our favorite Congresswoman, Bobo Boebert. This is an accomplishment for her because I don't know how she keeps topping the stupid stuff she says, but she just seems to be able to just go that extra mile and commitment to high quality stupidity. She said this week, the week we taped, I had a third kid because it's cheaper than birth control.
I saw that.
Now, first of all, generic birth control, even if you have to pay for it yourself, is $20 a month. I mean, as a person that's raised 3 kids, I can just tell you, there's no fucking way a kid just on school lunches alone, by the time they're school age, is more than $20 a month. Even if you qualify for reduced lunch or free lunch program, I can tell you just in things, participating with schools can't hardly pay for anything anymore because Republicans, especially Republican-controlled states, have slashed budgets to the point where things that schools used to buy literally don't buy. And you know, my last kid graduated high school in 2019, and I can just tell you that there's no way birth control is more expensive than having a kid. That literally is the dumbest heteronormative breeder mentality I've ever heard of. I mean, either you'd have to be on a ton of government assistance, you know, to lift up themselves by the bootstraps, Republicans. It's always funny that they're the ones that are on a lot of the public assistance, which I won't shame anybody for that. What I'm going to shame people for is when their hypocritical mouth overrides their hummingbird mouth ass, and that the fact that they can't disown the fact that most Republicans live at or below the poverty line, that they call most Democrats the takers of society, and they're the ones that make the money. Not true. And second, they say stuff like this. I don't know what other than they're trying to glorify pregnancy, and they're glorify kids. They're really trying to make people forget that they took away abortion in many, many states. They're trying to amp up how I've seen some of these other mouth breathers making childbirth and carrying a baby sound like really amazing and just this almost like orgasmic experience. I'm like, you've never been around a pregnant woman. I said, there is a. I will tell you something. They probably are. They are excited about having a baby, but it is anything but euphoric and orgasmic. It is tons of doctors visits. It's very invasive. It's very physically taxing. It's mentally taxing. And that's before the little monster is born. And after the little monster is born, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fucking work. And then if you want to go back to work, go back into the workforce, which most people have to at some point, and because we don't have, again, the pro-life crowd doesn't want paid family leave in this country. So unlike most European and most civilized high wealth nations, we don't have paid family leave as a universal benefit, even though we should. I mean, they want to encourage people not to have abortions and people to do proper family planning, but don't want to pay for it, don't want anything to do with it. They were, it's just so bizarre. It's such a bizarre, and the fact that people still vote for these chuckle fucks is unbelievable. Because they hurt poor people the most. They target poor people, especially poor white trash. And they go, "Thank you, I appreciate it." And then they're wondering why they're poor the rest of their lives and they die in poverty. Is that they have fucking 19 chitlins and can't afford them, and Bobbitt was doing sex work not that long ago. They have to pay for those 3 kids. Couldn't have been that affordable, with her sex offender, soon to be ex-husband. But in birth control, most time you can go down the county and you can get free birth control. They'll give you the generic birth control that's $20 at most Walmart and most CVS pharmacies and major pharmacies.
Or you know what? Hey, you know what, Jen? She's this alleged. It's fake. It's all for show. But she's this alleged Christian woman. How about just abstaining? How about just not having sex?
Yeah, I only do it for procreation.
Exactly.
And I mean, there are other forms of sex too. You don't have to do intercourse.
Yep.
Just these little things they invented. They called them condoms, which Republicans aren't going to use. I mean, at their orgies and cocaine parties, I mean, they probably share a lot of fellowship in those things. I mean, this is a little bit more of a downer subject, but it's something that kind of comes away from what I said last week on this show about we need to show the crime scenes and the horrific carnage of these mass shootings, and and ironically, an article came out just a few days after I said that, talking about the body cam footage from the Uvalde cops after they opened up the classroom and killed the shooter, and they said it showed them walking away and crying and throwing up and the shock and all. These are police officers that have seen a lot of crazy shit and how it affected them. And I'm like, that's what the public has to see. We have to show. And this is why the conservatives got real mad when part of the crime scene guy, the other Texas shooting that just happened a week or two ago, where one of the first responders that got there had this girl that was sitting up on her side and she was obviously dead. But when he turned her around, her face had been completely obliterated off her face, that there was no face left. And the conservatives really tried to push to get him edited out of social media, because you don't even see that story circulating anymore. They really edited. Elmo Musk made sure that story didn't get much life, because these pro-gun fetishes don't want to. If people saw what AR-15s did to bodies, to humans, and they actually saw the carnage, people would be burning cities down. I mean, not like 2020. I'm talking about burning cities down till they passed anti-gun, pro-life, common sense legislation. They would say, fuck this. People have no idea what an AR-15 round does to a human body. It shreds it. It does. It's not like some sanitized little cutesy wound you see on some kind of, fictional cop show where it kind of goes in and you just see a little bit of a bleeding hole, and it's very, very Hollywood. It's nothing like that. There's nothing glorified or pretty about it. It looks like you've put a body through a fucking meat grinder. And, the Uvalde kids and the 2 teachers that were slaughtered in that mass shooting, none of their bodies were identifiable. And the parents had no idea which kid was theirs, because that such a destructive gun. It's meant to destroy a human body. It's not meant for hunting. It's not meant for shooting clay pigeons. It's nothing. It's meant, the military and the arms makers developed this gun during Vietnam to really, really just slaughter the enemy. And now we got these running around in our city streets, and by the millions. There's no telling how many of the guns, 400 million guns out there, are AR-15s in the hands of these chuckle fucks that we don't know anything about them. We don't know they don't have any training background. I mean, we have a tough time keeping cops from shooting civilians. Why are we handing these guns to anybody that we don't know anything about, that haven't passed any? I mean, kids are signing up for Little League soccer go through a more thorough exam from your family doctor, from your pediatrician, and more of a fitness test than somebody that can go buy a weapon of war developed to do maximum damage to the human body. Think about that for a second. Even if it's YMCA soccer, you got to go get a physical from your medical practitioner. That's more vetting than you do for a gun. Running somebody's driver's license to see if they have any priors doesn't make them fit for owning a gun. And the fact that there is no mental screening. The military goes through all kinds of things. When you try to sign up for the military, you just don't sign up for the military. You don't sign on the dotted line, and the next day you're at boot camp. You go through quite a bit. Like, they give you a test and they do all kinds of things before you just walk in and say, hey, I'm in the military. It's not like in the movies, which is very bizarre. But we're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers and a Track. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers and a Track on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy time. We are back. But I do think it's weird that when you think about all the things that we can sign up for in life, whether it's the military, whether it's sports ball, well, there's a whole bunch of things that require some vetting. You just don't even boob jobs, breast augmentation. You meet with a doctor, they screen to make sure you're healthy enough. There's a lot of things you just don't walk in and say, hey, I want bigger breasts, or I want this cosmetic deal, or there's many things that are vetted in life. I'm pretty sure a weapon of war should be one of them. This one's a little bit funnier, quite a bit funnier. MTG had some kind of little sidekick, and they were doing some kind of TikTok. And they were talking about the vaccine, and MTG said she refused to wear the vaccine. Now I'll repeat that one more time. MTG said she refused to wear the vaccine. This person's a Congress person from Georgia. So she represents that district. She refused to wear the vaccine. I haven't seen the vaccine showing up in any of the fashion shows that I watch, but I'll be on the lookout for it. At the same time, Bobo Berbert is not dating, but dating what he's nicknamed the Ramen Shaman because of his hair. His hair looks like ramen noodles. I guess it's supposed to be Jesus-like looking hair.
Oh, the pastor guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's some kind of little pastor scammer, another just nut job, running around preaching hate, which is perfect for Bobo. I mean, when she gets voted out of office next year, because Adam Frisch is running again, and he only lost by a few hundred votes this last time, and that district's getting bluer and bluer, and they're sick of her. They're going to start up a little give to the greedy church. I mean, that's going to be her next career. You can already see it. She's getting rid of the old sex offender, starting to date old Ramen Shaman here, which I'm pretty sure they're probably having premarital sex. But going on birth control is more expensive. But back to MTG, Dolly did the chuckle fuck say that, but she had some dude sitting next to her, and his name's not even important, but he was sitting there, I guess being her sidekick or whatever, or I don't know what he was. I don't know if that's a new boyfriend or whatever. I mean, the two single crazy ladies from the House of Representatives seem to be running around with some mystery men here. And but I mean, you're not even articulate enough. You wear a mask, but you get an injection of the vaccine. She goes, I just went on this rant about it. I don't believe the mask. Only wore the mask, occasionally, which wasn't true. She wore it everywhere except on the floor of the house, because she wanted to be performative. And as soon as the cameras go off, the mask went on. She was never not seen with a mask on. And I guarantee you, everybody in the Congress took the vaccine. Nobody refused it. According to reports, everybody took it. Trump took it. Trump took the boosters. And I guarantee you, those freeloading Republicans in the House, nobody turned it down. Nobody in their right mind would turn that down. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Who would turn down a free vaccine that could save your life? We all saw the pictures of Trump looking all high on steroids and medications when he got COVID. He he looked more bloated than usual. He looked like a friggin', Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They had him on so many drugs. And they were like, nobody would want to go through that. Like it's not fun. COVID's not fun. And for the billions of people worldwide that got it, they're still getting it and still making the rounds. Miss Rona hasn't left that building yet.
But you know what? Also, Jenny, I was thinking about this the other day. Interesting you're talking about this because, it's hard to believe that we went through almost 3 years of all that baloney, anti-vax or anti-mask. Now they've just morphed into something different. The Moms for Liberty people were really just anti-mask people, anti-vaxxers that turned into a little bit smarter. Now they're banned books, banned LGBT. But interestingly, their whole talking point was and has still that this is a secret bioweapon from China, that it was the Chinese government who did this to, you know what I'm talking about. And what's really interesting is they're saying this, and yet they're still stupid enough to catch it. So they're saying this is a secret weapon by China, but I went out and got it because I know it's a secret weapon, but I'm going to help China. Yeah, exactly.
But it's also the Chinese flu and it's fake. It's going to go away by the summer. Go drink some bleach.
Exactly.
It's a horse.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
like they can't make up their mind which lie they want to, so they'll just say both of them.
Yeah, it just continues. It just continues.
But it's made in a Wuhan lab, and they wanted to kill off Americans, even though we weren't the first country to get infected with it. Technically, China unleashed it on itself, because they have such a young population, and you think about, if China really wouldn't unleash a bioweapon, they would just bring it over here and drop it in Disney and every mall that we have and walk away. Just do a whole Typhoid Mary thing. And why the fuck would you unleash it into your aging population? They have the oldest average age of population in the world. They're top heavy with older people, with baby boomers. And they don't know what to do about it. You got 80-year-olds cleaning the streets out there, having to work because their population is so top heavy. And it's bottom heavy, but the Gen Xers and millennials almost don't exist in China. They're squeezed between a huge older generation and a really huge young generation, but a generation of kids. And Xers and millennials, they just didn't have any, because that was during their one-child rule. And they have a disproportionate amount of males in our country. And unlike us, we're 52% female in this country. They're not. They're mostly bid. And so in those two generations, they just don't have enough females. And so the competition for a partner, which be a gay male's paradise, by the way. I mean,
exactly.
Good place to be gay. I mean, I think they've got, I know the ratio is like really high. I think it's like, I want to say in those generations, it's like 60% men or something like that. And it's just crazy because they would abort the baby girls and try again and try to have a boy. And so they didn't think about the pesky little fact that, if you have too many boys, something's got to give. I mean, there's going to be a lot of bumping uglies, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. This is two queers in a track. Totally gay friendly. Real good place to be gay. But anyway, the next topic that we've ignored is one that all over the country, especially the Moms for Liberty and the Republicans, are working their way towards privatizing schools. Well, we shoot this show in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where we're based at. And it's happening here too. They're Republicans are really pushing giving more money to charter schools and private schools and that sort of thing. Well, one of the arguments against privatizing schools is exactly what I'm about to tell you. There's a North Carolina charter school that doctored up their attendance to make it look like they had more kids in attendance than they did. And in one school year, they racked up an extra $400,000 in fake charges, saying that they had more kids than they did. The school's failing. In fact, it's gone out of business. It's gone into receivership. And I think people don't realize when you say privatize schools, it means that they become businesses, that your local school is now a business, a private enterprise, like, Providence Elementary School brought to you by Walmart or Amway. And so they're wanting to turn these into businesses because they think it'll make it more competitive. Like the kids are going to go, I'm going to study harder because I'm going to the Walmart school on Providence Road. It doesn't work that way. Kids aren't products. Kids are human beings. A third grader doesn't give no shit whether it's a private school or a public school. They're only going to be able to work at their ability, whatever their innate intelligence and innate ability and talents. And some kids aren't, for whatever reason, whether it's genetics, whether it's a home life, whether it is there's a family below the poverty line that doesn't have the resources of a family that has 300% more income than them. There's a lot of societal issues that influence how good of a student a kid can be. And also just, they could have a learning disability. They could have, there could be a lot of limits. And all the more reason why you need public schools, well-funded public schools. But this is another break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers in a Truck.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching us on Two Queers in a Truck. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime at your leisure on our video podcast platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But you can also listen to us, either this show or any of our past shows, on our audio podcast platforms like Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and all of the other ones. So once again, thank you for watching Two Queers in a Truck. I hope you enjoy our show.
And we are back. And it's one of the reasons I'm extremely against privatization of schools. Private schools don't work for 70 or 80% of the population. You also have the danger of bigotry in a private school, them deciding that they don't want your queer kid, kids of color, they don't want anybody that's going to cost them money, like a student that is special needs, to bring in testing and that sort of thing. They typically don't even offer that. So where do those kids go? The kids that have dyslexia and dysgraphia, Downs, where do those kids go? And nobody thinks about that. They're like, oh yeah, it'd be good for the schools to be competitive against each other. They also forget that they can't afford as many sports ball programs. And they make a big deal of trans girls, all two of them, playing sports in North Carolina. But yeah, I guarantee you the first programs they're going to cut are girls' sports. They're not going to cut out foosball. They're not going to cut out sports for boys. And because they're private, do they have to go by Title IX? Do they have to go by the rules? It's just another version. It's a cash grab, and it's another way of segregating schools for conservative white families. And that they don't have to pay for their own schooling. They don't have to pay for the private school education. That they'll be able to send their kids to whatever religious school they want to reaffirm their patriotism or Christianity or whatever they're trying to reaffirm at the time. I just think it's very bizarre. I think it's very, very bizarre. But on another note, I reposted a meme the other day that I thought was quite funny, but it was started as something serious from a religious organization, and basically says you can't climb the ladder of heaven while holding and touching your penis. And it's an anti-masturbation ad. And again, conservatives don't think about what they say. One, because most of them, like 99% of them, are stupid. But think about this as, so the ultimate goal of Christianity is that you do certain rituals and believe certain things. You get forgiven for your sins, you get led into heaven, kind of like a nightclub. You wear the certain clothes, you look good, you get past the velvet robes. If you're fat, old, and ugly, you're not dressed a certain way, you don't get past the velvet robes. And, and so heaven to me, I equate to some kind of, Studio 54 nightclub. But what a selling point that you get, if this is such a nice place, why didn't it have an elevator? I mean, you got to climb some ladder. I mean, come on, it's a ridiculous premise that somehow masturbating is going to keep you from going to heaven. And I'm going, well, so is there a total sex ban in heaven? I mean, do you I don't want to go anywhere where it's a bunch of crazy conservatives up there that I'm going to be stuck eternally with. I'm like, at least send me to purgatory. Because that place sounds a lot more fun. And I think most of my friends are probably going to hell. So I'm probably going to want to be there. I mean, we have better prides and warmer weather. Heaven sounds like a cold, stuffy, crazy Catholic and Mormon place. And I don't, the Mormons have special heavens, depending on what you do. And you got some kind of extra decoder ring or something, a secret handshake.
And the Catholics have this purgatory, which is like the bar before you go into the restaurant. You're waiting to be seated, so you hang out at the bar. So yeah,
you get a little pager waiting for heaven.
Exactly.
You can get some drinks and some appetizers and some hot sauce and some chips at the bar. And but what a Christianity doesn't have many really good selling points. I'm like you're limited on your sex. Some of them have make you fucking not eat for a certain period of time and do all. I'm like, you ain't really selling me on this idea. Mormons, they wear their special undergarment underwears that supposedly they've created these stories of how it stopped rapes and being shot and how it stopped bullets, all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, you guys just will lie about anything. There is no special underwear. Mormons are some of the horniest people I've ever met. I'm just saying. I mean, they get very few vices. They can't drink caffeine. They're not supposed to smoke anything, especially weed, but even cigarettes too. Not that I don't smoke cigarettes, but not supposed to drink, not supposed to do all this stuff. Sex is about their only vice. And they kind of look the other way on the sex thing. So they're typically very, very horny. And a lot of the men are down low, gays, bisexual, like a ton. Speaking of masturbation, and I also think it's very sexist. I mean, they're talking about having a handful of penis. You can't climb the ladder. I'm going, well, women masturbate too. The women that have vaginas. I'm going, you didn't talk about her holding a vibrator up against it and you can't climb that same little Jesus ladder. I mean, come on. I mean, but it's just, I'm going, some of the stuff you don't want to put in your brochure. When you're out recruiting and grooming people to come to your church and your Super Bowl parties and all the other grooming events they have, so the youth pastor can eyeball which kids he wants. Special. Speaking of that, this isn't a full topic. It's not the sixth topic, but I don't know if you saw that. I think it's 2,100. Yeah, I think you posted it about the Catholic Church in Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois.
And the number was way higher than what the Catholic Church admitted to. What a shocker there. How many times have we said that? Pedophile priest.
Well, that's what I've said, Jenny. That is, last couple of years with all the attacks on LGBTQ plus people, that is the one thing that if we could go back and do it again, I wish that those who were allies of ours who held office would attach these amendments to these bills, like here in North Carolina, for example, when they do the Don't Say Gay bill, when they do the trans bill, attach amendments and say, I agree with you. We need to protect people. So we're going to attach an amendment that says that any church that has a history or has been accused of molestation, kids are not allowed to go to that church, and let them get on the defensive and say, no, that's not what we want. And then we create an issue, because there are many Catholics who are pro-life, who are marching against abortion, who also don't like priests who molest their kids.
Yeah.
And so it is, the people aren't black and white. There's a lot of gray in areas. And those are the balls that we've dropped on being able to attach. We still can over the next year, but we need to attach these amendments and say, if you're really concerned about that, then let's look at the FBI data, like you and I talk about all the time. Here, and you and I have talked about this before. Dan Bishop, who used to be our congressperson, Crazy Bathroom Dan, is a member of St. Matthew's. It has the largest congregation in America. It's in South Charlotte and Ballantyne. Their head priest, I guess it's called the Monsignor, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't been a Catholic for a while. Their head priest has been taken off because this person was accused of molestation when he was in New York. And the Vatican took him off because it was too controversial. Well, members of that congregation are like the conservative Christian people of that congregation are fighting the Catholic Church, the Catholic diocese, saying, no, we want him back, including Dan Bishop, saying these are false. So make them defend someone who has been accused of molestation and pedophilia. And so these are lost opportunities, I think, that we're missing.
We're not holding these church businesses, these religious businesses, accountable. We're not holding them accountable financially. Mm-hmm. If you had another industry, let's say we switched it from churches to shoe stores, and we consistently had shoe store managers feeling up people's legs while they're helping size shoes, and they touch the pooty poos and the wieners of their customers consistently. That's just part of the shoe business. But the advantage of being a shoe salesman, a shoe store manager, is you get to fondle and molest people, randoms, adults, kids, whole nine yards. It's part of the business. It's okay. We don't want to close down the shoe stores. We don't want to offend anybody that has feet. And it sounds just as stupid as it should sound, is that if you have a consistent industry that is propagating groomers and molesters, and especially you're the same people that keep calling every LGBT person a drag queen that same thing with no proof, zero fucking proof. Zero fucking proof. They've passed all these anti-trans kids and trans people laws that take away our health care with zero fucking proof. And they tried out 6 or 7 people that have detransitioned for pay. Now they're paid liars. Because once you get them away from the camera and away from the testimony where they perjured themselves, they'll say, no, I'm still trans. I'm still queer. It's just that the money was too good. Literally admitted, including that one Chloe bitch that's gone around lying about her transition and lying about, I was encouraged and forced and groomed into it. Horseshit. The system is set up to keep from doing that. You got to go through so many psychological screenings and qualifying exams. And she transitioned over years. The groomers is the church industry and the Republicans. Always has been the way. It's always been a problem with conservatives. Conservatives have always been rapey. Always been. And we need to have a real talk about this. Topic 6 that we didn't get to, but I reset the clock to get to, is since we're right on the edge of Pride Month, we're on May 31st, so tomorrow's Happy Pride.
That's right.
Orlando Pride, Tampa Pride did cancel because theirs is in June and they didn't have time to fight the myriad of fucking crazy ass anti-LGBT bills in Florida. But Orlando Pride is still going forward with theirs because theirs is on October 21st. So congratulations to Orlando for fighting this. And I'm sure they're going to fight it in court over the summer. But also, too, I want to talk about Ethan Big Gay Schmidt versus Target. Ethan Schmidt is that guy with that real big, greasy-looking handlebar mustache that goes around in stores and pet adoptions and harasses people. I thought it was interesting. One of his recent videos, well, he had 2 recent videos. One is he always has that man friend with him. You ever notice that? They seem really close. For somebody that really hates gay people, they sure spend. I never see a girlfriend. I just see the little dark-headed man friend. And Ethan's big old porn stash looks like the same guys that you see on Folsom Street in San Francisco during leather days. Just kind of interesting. Which is a big gay festival. A lot of men in gear, leather gear, a lot of gayness, a lot of manliness, a lot of gayness, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually a beautiful sight. Like it's pretty sexy. But I find it interesting in one of the videos, he was talking about telling all of his followers, adult people that are anti-gay, to buy up all the rainbow flags. And then he pulls out this pristine, immaculate, really nice looking rainbow flag. Now, I'm atheist. I don't have any Jesus flags. I don't have any Buddha flags. I don't have any religious paraphernalia in my house. I am anti-religion for a lot of reasons because I'm anti-groomer. And the real groomers are religious people. But I wouldn't buy up a bunch of Christian paraphernalia and then keep it in my house so that Christians run out of Christian paraphernalia, like little crosses.
So his advice was to what?
He wanted people to buy up all the rainbow flags so that we
that way
flags. Now, I think it's an excuse for him to have. And he had a real silky, really pretty, really elaborate rainbow flag for him and man friend. I think it's his excuse to say why he keeps probably rainbow flags in his house is he's trying to take them away from the gay people. When in essence, him and his boyfriend are quietly celebrating Pride.
So I gotta understand his logic, because is that a joke? I mean, he's really saying to buy them.
He was even unfolding, showing his rainbow flag that he got. Like, he was very proud of that flag.
So his
didn't burn it.
Okay, so his plan, his strategy to own the libs, to boycott Target, is to give them business.
Or and buy rainbow flags.
Wow, interesting.
Probably from gay-owned businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
he's going to own us by every conservative in America buying up all the rainbow flags. Therefore, we'll be short rainbow flags come Pride.
Yeah, and the price will go up, and they'll make more money. That's a very interesting strategy. I mean, it was very similar to the Bud Light strategy. Where you buy the Bud Light, then you, I mean, you buy the Bud Light so you can destroy them. Okay, let's keep doing it.
The libs. They own the libs.
Exactly.
Like, I wish they would buy up all my rainbow flags I got for sale.
Exactly. Maybe we should have a garage sale, Jenny. Yeah.
Maybe we should go buy some wholesale rainbow flags and
exactly. Yeah.
And put them up on our sites, because
come and own us.
Conservatives on our Facebook site.
Yeah.
I'd say, if you buy up all these rainbow flags, us homosexuals won't have any for next month.
That's right.
Again, my theme today has been stupid stuff that conservatives are going. There is some struggling online gay-owned shops that pretty much can only sell rainbow stuff during June.
Yep.
They're going, I mean, here,
here in Charlotte, the White Rabbit, is that what it's called? The White Rabbit? Yeah, they're like, come and buy our flags.
But what's really bizarre, so this guy, Ethan Schmidt, and then we'll wrap up, is also on probation, and he can't enter a Target store for a year, which is up next month. So he can go back into Target stores, because last time he was in one, he was like vandalizing the Pride section.
Okay.
I think it's very bizarre.
Yeah.
That they fixate on Target stores.
Yeah.
At the Pride section when you can buy all that same shit online.
Yeah.
And I'm not that I'm poo-pooing Targets. And they're saying, well, Target stores are taking down all the Pride sections. I was in Target yesterday. And it's still there.
That's kind of a spin they're making. They're not taking down Pride section.
Nah.
Yeah.
They may move them to not in front of it, like the Pride store, the Target store on North Ray Road. They moved the Pride section. They do that every year.
The back.
They put it up front in late May to show people.
And they move it to the back.
And they always move it to the back. So they've already moved it to the back. Yeah. But I think, one, the death of the Pride shops in Target has been greatly exaggerated. Two, Target doesn't care if people go in there and damage the stuff. They've got insurance.
Yeah.
The insurance will pay for the damage. And if conservatives would go in there and buy up all the Pride gear, just like Budweiser and InBev, they're going, don't you threaten me with a good time. Don't you come in here and buy my merchandise. I double dare you come in here and buy our merchandise, because we'll get another ship from China and we'll be okay. But anyway, hey, conservatives, the few of you that go out, buy all the Pride gear you can, create a shortage, especially with gay-owned businesses. And y'all have a great week. Thanks for watching.
Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo. Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching. And have a great Pride month on our Pride Month week, May 31st. Hope you safe out there. There's a lot of Ethan Schmitz and Bobo Bobers. Bye, y'all.
Bye.